continuing our series, Giving Our Flowers to Black Directors. I'm your host, Jackie McGriff, and if this is your first time listening and or watching this the podcast, welcome to Representation in Cinema. We talk about the films that center Black, Brown, and Indigenous voices, as well as on the film industry itself. I'm not only your host, but also the founder, director, and co-producer of Our Voices Project, a production company that shares the stories and lived experiences of Black, Brown, Indigenous peoples through visual storytelling and truth telling. We are community engaged filmmakers who firmly believe that you cannot center the stories of Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples without also being in community and in solidarity with them. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the little bell to get notified about new episodes as they drop. If you're listening on your preferred podcast platform, hit the follow button. Rate us 5 stars if you like what you hear, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts about any of the things that we bring up in this episode. Tonight's episode is about Nia DaCosta, the director behind The Marvels, Hedda, the 2021 remake of the horror classic Candyman, Little Woods, and a recent release 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Before I get into some background about Nia DaCosta, I'm going to introduce our guest tonight, returning to the podcast, Brianna Milan. Sorry. I
You're
just
fine.
I know I was going to mess that up again.
You're fine. For
Okay.
such a little name, it be tripping people up.
I
It's all
don't
right.
understand
It's okay.
what is the problem. Okay. Anyway, Brianna Milan. Uh, oh my gosh. Let me start over. Okay. Brianna Milan. A, wow. So this
I
part is
believe
going
in
to be
you.
cut. Wait, what?
I said I believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a while. This part's gonna get cut out. I've heard. Okay. So okay. Brianna Milan, a published author, communications professor. Wow. Oh my God. I'm reading. We're reading. This is going in bloopers for
Mm,
sure or something. Okay. I'm gonna get it together.
you're
I
doing
swear.
great.
You know?
Mhm. Mhm. You're doing great. I'm trying not to laugh. Just keep going.
It's fine. Okay. All right. No, I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
You got to get it out.
All right. No, see, this is why. This is why I do one podcast episode a night. Okay. Here we go. Brianna Milan, a published author, communications professional, and model who blends creativity and connection in everything she does. With a background in media, public relations, and storytelling, she's passionate about using her voice and presence to inspire and uplift others. Welcome back, Brie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. So on to Nia DaCosta. Nia DaCosta is who you get when you let the blurs cook. Because when you look at her work, you can see the handiwork of someone genuinely loves storytelling. Nia DaCosta is a Harlem-born filmmaker who for whom storytelling was always I'm just going to start that over. Yep, just messing up all kinds of things. Here we go. All right, we're going to start again. Holy crap on a cracker. I'm doing great. We're going to do great. Yes. Okay. All right. So on to Nia DaCosta. Nia DaCosta is who you get when you let the blurs cook. Because when you look at her work, you can see the handiwork of someone who genuinely loves storytelling. Nia DaCosta is a Harlem born filmmaker for whom storytelling was always a part of who she was and is at her core. In interviews, she talks about how she was always writing poetry, short stories, novels, constantly building worlds and trying to understand the people inside them. Her path to directing also reflects that same curiosity about storytelling. She studied film and drama in London, and early in her career, she studied as a production assistant on sets for filmmakers like Steven Soderbergh, Steve McQueen, and Martin Scorsese. Watching these directors run their sets taught her something important, that the culture of a film set starts with the director, the respect, the collaboration, and the energy. Her curiosity is the common thread that runs through all of her work as a director. From Candyman to The Marvels to Hedda, she's consistently drawn to characters who live on the margins. Her characters are complex, messy, making questionable decisions and often isolating themselves or driven to ostracization by those closest to them. I'm going to do that over. From Candyman to Marvels to Hedda, she's consistently drawn to characters who live on the margins. Her characters are complex, messy, making questionable decisions, and often isolating themselves or driven to ostracization by those closest to them. But the brilliance of daCosta is in her calling us out, or calling us in, rather. We, the audience, being too quick to judge a character rather than seeing the full picture, sitting with the context and looking within ourselves. It's a lesson that we can and must take repeatedly as a society where social media often drives a lot of the conversation, reducing it down to passionate sound bites and hot takes while leaving very little room for nuance. DaCosta's storytelling allows her characters to be fully human in all of their complexities, imperfections, and bad behavior. DaCosta herself refuses to be put into a box, exploring all of this across a variety of different genres: horror, thrillers, and comic book films. She does all of this while also wrapping the story into social commentary, and that matters because the best storytelling asks us to interrogate the systems we live in, the assumptions we carry, and the ways in which we move throughout the world. Social commentary in film creates space for conversations that we might otherwise avoid, and it reminds us that the stories we watch are often reflections of the realities we're living in. That is why we're giving Nia DaCosta her flowers. If you haven't already watched her films, we highly recommend that you do so. All right. So, with that, we're going to dive into three of her films. And just so you know, we're getting into spoilers. So, you have been warned. All right. So, starting with Hedda. So, this is a film starring Tessa Thompson, who she often works with. Finds herself torn between the lingering ache of a past love and the quiet suffocation of her present life. This is a retelling, a reimagining of Henrik Ibsen's classic play of the same name, Hedda Gabler. So, Brie, let's get into your initial reaction to this film.
Yeah, one, I love Tessa Thompson, so
Of course.
immediately I was there for her. And it starts off, I believe, with what is it? She's being interrogated,
Yes.
and as soon as you see that, I'm like, oh, somebody died, and and my boyfriend who watches with, he's like, how do you know someone died? I'm like, she's being questioned by the
Yeah.
police,
Yes.
smoking a cigarette,
Right.
looks like day after situation.
Oh, yeah.
It's very evident, like someone has perished.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so, and it really does, they do a really good job of making you think like, "I need to understand her,"
Yeah. Yes.
and I think that I got that very early on, knowing I knew this was gonna be a complex woman,
Yes.
and the movie definitely played into that. We get so many different layers of Hedda
So
over the next 2 hours,
mhm.
and I really enjoyed getting to know, what we said you said Nia DaCosta often has complicated characters, and
Yes.
it's like, yes,
Yes.
every single movie,
Yes.
I'm like, "Can I actually root for you?"
Right. Right.
Like, I'm always rooting for everybody black, but, like, can I actually root for you? Because you are making some decisions. You are not a girl's girl.
Yee. Lots of and she definitely proves that she is not a girl's girl
No.
at any stretch of the
Not at
imagination.
all.
Not at all. Oh my gosh. Had you seen the play before that it's
No.
based on?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So there are some creative differences, of course, that she takes, as you do, right, going from medium to medium,
Mhm.
with the film. But I mean, it's very true to the character herself,
Mhm.
because throughout, so I'd seen the play, and it is very she's very much that, like, making all of these decisions that are just like, it's her way, of course, of, like, holding on to this power.
Right.
She is a master manipulator, if
Mhm.
anything. And so throughout the play, that is exactly what you're asking, is like, can I still root for this woman? Because, like, listen, we're here for women's rights as well as women's wrongs, but, like, there is a limit. There is a limit to how much I can root for you, and it's like, and I don't know if it's because of the actress that is playing them, because it is a very fine line, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
like, first of all, in real life, like, if you are being manipulated and you know you're being manipulated, right? You you're like, "No, this is unforgivable." Like,
Right.
you're cut off from them. If you're watching someone on screen though who is either on screen or on stage, right? That you're like, I don't know if I should be rooting for this person because I actually kind of want to be here right now,
Uh,
but also not really because that's terrible, right?
right, right.
It's like this, it's this fine line.
Yes.
And I think it's as far as writing her, as far as like adapted like screenplay goes, like this is Nia DaCosta, like, does it kills it, in my
Yeah.
opinion, and because the person I saw, in a play was, if it's, Rita is it Rita Wilson? I'm gonna have to look it up, or Ruth Wilson, who also played Alice in, Luther, for anyone who is listening or watching, if you've watched, that series starring Idris Elba. Alice is a beloved character by fans. And Ruth Wilson does an incredible job with that. So I had seen her in this play, and again, I'm like, I don't know if it's because it's the actress who's playing, or it's because she's just doing a fantastic job of kind of like, overstepping that line and then stepping back, constantly like playing with the line. I think is a
Mhm.
really I think it might be both of those things, but I
Right.
feel like the way in which Tessa Thompson, approaches that character is, oh, stunning.
So when I first saw it,
Yeah.
I what is it? Soon after Amazon, of course, recommended the
Yeah.
original of some sort.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that made me think, okay, was this role originated by a black woman or right?
Right,
No.
right.
Okay,
That's
so
the other creative license that she takes it, yeah.
right. So it's a layer of like we have this 1950s housewife
Yes,
who is honestly using the powers that she has at her disposal.
yes.
Right? At this time, women don't have the right to buy a house. They can't have a bank account.
Right.
Can't have a credit card,
Mhm.
and they have very little agency. And I think she looked for ways where she could employ her whatever she did have
Right.
to her situations.
Yes.
And I think another liberty, right, is that they make the love interest a woman,
Yes. Yep,
right? Or
yep.
her past love
Right,
interest, a
yeah.
woman, which,
Yes.
first of all, as a queer woman, I'm always here for the gay and anything. So that was just, that was a huge surprise for me.
Mhm.
Wasn't expecting that going into the film.
Yeah.
But then the actress who plays her
Yes.
is just stunning in
So
her portrayal of that woman.
yes. So Nina Hoss,
Mm.
who, if you've seen Tar, so the movie, about, it's with, oh my god, how am I blanking on her name? Um, it's about, I keep the name of one actress keeps coming up. I'm like, no, that's not who that is. But so Nina was in Tar, playing the love interest of, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Um, she was in Tar, and her performance, she's a supporting actress in that role, much like she is here. But like, I mean,
Kate Blanchett?
thank you. I don't know
Ah,
why I'm like,
ah.
in my head, my brain kept saying Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm like, no, that's not who that is. And you know how like you're searching for something and your brain comes up with something that is not at all the right
Correct.
answer. Yeah, so that's what kept happening. Thank you. She plays the partner to Kate Blanchett's character in the movie Tar, which
Mm.
was, I think, I forget if it won, but I know it was up for nominations of Oscars when it came out. But yeah, so to see her play even more of a bigger role, I thought she was great in this
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I thought what is it? The scene where she goes into the gentleman's room, right? And she has to convince them that
Yeah.
she is right for the job because she's up for this professor job, which Hedda's
Yes.
husband is also up for,
Right.
right? So that creates the one of the biggest tensions going on.
Yeah.
And then she goes into the parlor room and she starts serving them and giving it to them and just owning that space.
Mhm.
But so we have these huge high moments that I what is it? Because she had spilled the water or
Yeah.
something on her before.
Yes.
So she had gone into the space with her breasts essentially
Yeah.
like
Right. Out. Like
out.
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, at that point it had dried, so it was a little tasteful, but
Yes.
it was still she was going in extremely vulnerable. and having to prove herself more than she showed up at the party with her girlfriend,
Right.
right? So all of the first of all, I'm like, would this have really happened in 1950s? Like, no. So it's but I enjoy the liberties taken because it's such an awesome thing to see play out. Because
Yes.
she takes them in, she convinces them like they're hanging on by the edge of her word, and her sex appeal plays a huge
Huge
role
role.
in this scene, as well as her mind.
Yes.
I think it's such a nice juxtaposition to see both of them kind of playing hand in hand.
Mhm.
Because it wasn't if it was just sex, they wouldn't have listened to her,
Right.
right? It was they at one point actually started to respect her,
Yeah.
but then you start to see that it's kind of a pinnacle, and then there's a fall down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it plays into again, like Nia loves herself some complicated women,
Mhm.
and she just to go from this pedestal that the men just kind of let her paint herself on
Yeah.
to falling within like 5 minutes.
And the thing is that the what adds to that, so for context, what also adds to that is like her being super vulnerable, not only just because like she's in a male dominated field and she's having to prove herself, but then also the fact that Hedda, um knowing that she has, or her former lover, right, has sworn off of alcohol, right?
Mhm.
She's on this path to being straight and narrow. Like she knows that, if she starts drinking, which is also true to, of course, the play, um, is like driving her back into like this very dangerous place that she does not want to be,
Right.
right? And of course, she's at a party where she's trying to make an impression. So now being forced to, like, be in a room where there's already men who don't take you seriously, and you're also been, like, drenched with water, right? She's also a little tipsy, right?
Mhm.
And after not wanting to do that in the first place, or being in that position, now she's facing all of this, and it all, like, really unravels again because Hedda is there's all this tension. There's the fact that she brought her girlfriend, right,
Right.
to there. There's still obviously feelings there, that Hedda has. Um, but then also, right, not having ownership of the situation, not having control of the
Right.
situationship, she immediately has to assume that. And so she's doing everything within her power, right,
Mhm.
to make sure that, again, her love interest, you know, is basically beholden to her, like they're dependent
Mhm.
on her. It's
Mhm.
it's sick, but then you're also like, "Damn, I could if I had those," like, I'm like, and I don't know if you thought this at any point. I was like, "If I had those kind of skills, I would use it for good, right? For good,
Mhm.
mostly, maybe." I'm like, I'm starting to question myself. I'm like, but like I see, if I
Mm.
had those powers of persuasion though, like, I could
Mhm.
definitely use it for good, but I don't know, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're thinking at that point, but let me know your
I
thoughts.
think the power of persuasion blesses the wrong people sometimes. But I absolutely think I would use it to my advantage. In that world, what
Yeah,
else do they have?
right.
Right? Like they don't have any they can't find any social cap outside of social capital. There's no
Mhm,
financial power, there's
mhm,
no ruling power. Like they have no control over
mhm.
the things they own in their lives. And it
Yeah,
only comes down to having a husband. So
mhm,
now you've even introduced a person who has said men are invalid because she doesn't date
mm,
them,
mhm,
right? So I don't need you in order
right,
to have this life and
mhm,
have these things. Like
yes,
I can provide them for myself and my wife,
right,
so they also already feel intimidated.
mhm.
But of course, I it's like it's so sad to think that this woman would have handled that situation perfectly if not for
Mm.
being coerced to drink by our heroine,
Yeah.
who is just a ball of energy,
Oh
man.
my
I
god.
I think I like her in such a convoluted way.
You know, real it is. Oh man.
I think Hedda really just she makes choices that make you like double back, like, huh,
Yeah,
why would you do that?
right.
But at the same time, you're like, oh, but you're creating such a mess that's so
Mhm.
nice to watch burn. And like it's a perfect mess. But I think Tessa really takes that role and makes it her own,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the key, a little bit of what, well, we're both saying like before, I think a key to that is like you have to have an actress who, number one, commands the room wherever they are, right? Someone who has that kind of like authority that can really command a
Mhm.
role, but then also someone who is also like you like enough that you may or may not like let it slide, but because you also see the kind of control that she holds over people,
Mhm.
you almost respect it in a
Right.
way, right?
Right.
Because of
Because
this,
they're dumb enough to get controlled
'cause they're dumb
sometimes.
enough to get control, but then also too, it's also like you also have this context of it being the '50s and women also
Right.
not having, right, a lot of power. So,
Mhm.
like, whatever power they can get, especially if it's over if it's over men, great, but then you also add in this fact that it's a woman, it's another
Right.
woman that she's doing. It just adds to the
But
dynamic.
also, it's another woman she sees doing what she couldn't.
Yes.
Right? So it's a
Yes.
woman who
Yes.
was able to she knew she was queer and she lived her life as such,
Mhm.
and a woman who is not afraid of taking up her space no matter how uncomfortable people around her may be.
Mhm.
And I think she's jealous. I
Yeah.
I genuinely
Yeah.
think Hedda is jealous of the fact that this woman left her
Mhm.
and excelled, right?
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
didn't burn, she didn't crash and burn.
Right.
She actually is up for the same job her husband wants. So it's almost like you would no matter what, you would have been with the person who got this job,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
type of situation. And I think that she yearned for that kind of freedom
Mhm.
that her ex-partner had.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Something else that I want to talk about. There was definitely like a mood switch or like a shift in the film. I think I kind of held my breath the moment oh gosh, it was the moment where she hid like the
The
whatever the
book.
the book, the
Mhm.
manuscript or whatever,
Mhm.
right? And then they all go out, right? They go for a swim
Right.
and she loses it. Or well, she loses or she thinks she's lost it.
Mhm.
And then
The
Hedda,
girlfriend.
right, the girlfriend. And then
Right.
she hides, oh gosh. I think I'm trying to remember. She Hedda hides it. And so she's like Nina's character is like basically losing it
Mhm.
and everything and thinking
Mhm.
that she's lost it. And then we get towards like not towards the end, I'd say it was around the middle, or maybe it's towards the end. Um, but that she's now trying to convince her husband to like burn the
Yep.
manuscript. So it's like gone forever. I think like at that moment I just kind of went, oh my God. Like
'Cause that's really something you can't come back from. Like,
no.
you're kinda condemning this woman, right?
Yes.
Like, to she
Her
doesn't get this
entire
job,
livelihood.
right, her livelihood, her future, like, what does she have next? And after she's already climbed herself up from her rock
Yes.
bottom,
Right. Right.
right? So
Right.
we and Hedda is fully aware of
Yes.
what this woman has went through, the struggles that she faces,
Mhm.
and she still chooses to do the most selfish thing I think someone could choose to do in this
Oh my
situation.
god.
And it is at that point that I'm like, "Girl."
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It was like it's even before that. Before that happens, this is what kicks this off. Is when she tells her she doesn't love her. Like
Mm,
Hedda hears she doesn't still love me. What I can't. There's nothing else here. Like maybe if she loved her, she would. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened.
mm.
Right?
'Cause, like, is she just mad that this person isn't under her control anymore?
Hmm.
You know?
That's
Or
what I'm.
is it really feeling the loss
Is
of
it
this
really feeling
person?
the loss?
Or is it just like, "Oh, this means I can't control you anymore, so how can I still
Still
control
control.
you?" And
Exactly.
it's the only thing she has is burning that manuscript. That is the
Yeah.
only thing she can do to hurt her
Right.
if she doesn't love her anymore.
Right.
So, Hedda, I just I think she was such a dynamic character
Mhm.
and really made you question so much during that time,
Mhm.
during as you're watching.
Yeah.
But baby girl was not a girl's girl.
Not a
Um,
girl's girl.
she was not. And I just and also I think to let your jealousy be so strong,
Yeah.
that you now push out another flame that during a time when it's nearly impossible for a woman to create
Yeah.
to achieve those
To
feats
excel. Yeah.
at men's behest, right?
Yes.
And to snuff that out, it didn't feel like there was hesitation. It
That
felt very much like she knew what she wanted to do and did it.
that and then to create tension between her former lover and her now girlfriend
Mhm.
to also
Right.
create tension in that. There's so many layers. And there's at one point like there's someone at the party, right? So Hedda's seated and then sitting right next to her is another woman who kind of sees this look on Hedda's face and she's like, "What are you up to?"
Mhm.
And she's like, "Oh, you'll see." And I'm like, "Oh God, what is she about to do now?" Like, 'cause I can't, I don't know how much more of this I can take. Like, and I know having seen the play, like I'm like, I know like most of
Chaos
like
is
what,
coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, oh God, here we go. Um, okay. Really important question. For that end, do you think that she died by suicide? Yeah. Cause that's the thing that's really been.
There is a part of me that thinks that woman made every decision that night. She controlled every single card, every
Mhm.
single piece on the board,
Mhm.
and I don't think her death is any different. I
Yeah.
don't think it's any
It's
different. I think yeah.
another tactic. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. That she is completely in control in front of and 5 steps ahead of everybody
Yeah.
always, and
Yeah.
I truly believe that she had a hand to play in her own death.
Yeah. That's what I started to think too, because I'm like, had she still been alive, um, she's played all her cards.
Right.
So there's nothing else at this point, right? Um, there's a small, I was like, if she's still alive though, I'm like, okay, if she had, because she's also hearing, right, that because I guess so again, Nina's character, and I'm gonna remember it in a second. But Nina Nina Haas's character, Eileen, um, sh Hedda gives her the gun to basically,
Mhm.
essentially, like, do the same, thing, and it's found out, like, as Hedda is descending into, like, the water, and everything, the final thing right before it, you know, cuts to black is she hears that she's alive, right?
Right.
So it's like, so even if she had stayed alive, I don't know. Who's to say that she couldn't have found another way to
Mhm.
like try to control the people around her? But then at that time, even still at that time, there was so many things unraveling.
Right.
Right at that point, there was also the guy who was trying to assault her.
Right.
So that like that's another thing. It's just like
You can never not have that, I
it's
guess, when you have women who are put in a sexual position at all in movies, I guess.
yeah, right.
But yeah, a lot of moving
A
parts
lot of
that
moving parts.
she just gracefully exited from, like the diva she is.
Yes.
And I do believe that she made that choice. And hearing that she's alive,
Yeah.
I think that cemented her wanting to die.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think that fully cemented her like, okay, I can go now. I didn't want her to actually die. Like that was never
Right.
her purpose,
Right.
her
Right. Right.
goal, what
Right.
she wanted.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to hurt her,
Yeah.
but I did not think that she wanted that outcome. So I think that cemented her like, I can go
Yeah. For
and I'm
sure.
going to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man, that movie.
Yeah, I was not expecting that whatsoever when I turned that on. And it was a really great surprise. And what I didn't realize that Nia until I had seen all of these movies except for Candyman.
Mhm.
And I watched that yesterday. And realizing Tessa pops up in all of these.
Yes, she does.
Like Tessa is here. Like I didn't realize she
Yeah.
was the Michael B. Jordan to her Ryan Coogler.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, like
Exactly.
how
Exactly.
cute.
Right.
Love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like it's always like a conversation, and of course, like it makes sense to a point. Hearing about like all of the male directors and the
Mhm.
actors are usually bringing on into projects, right? But women are often again like kind of cast aside and not really talked about, you know, women directors. But I mean, this is really who she brings on. Before we get into the Marvels, where Tessa Thompson also has like this,
Hmm.
just this small like appearance and everything. I was not expecting her to pop up in
Yeah.
that movie. But did you have any other comments about or any thoughts about the film overall, any themes or takeaways for Hedda?
No, I think we dived into what I've thought mostly about Hedda, and I can enjoy her for the complex character that she is.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I can't imagine anyone else tackling that
No.
role as well as Tessa Thompson did.
Hmm.
Yes. Would have appreciated more recognition, from award shows, but that's fine. And NAACP and the AAFCA, they did their thing with recognizing Hedda and Nia DaCosta. So
Good.
yes. Moving on to the Marvels. So the Marvels follows Carol Danvers, Kamala Khan, and Monica Rambeau, who find their powers entangled, forcing them to swap places whenever they use them. They must team up to stop Kree leader Darben, who is destroying planets to restore her own homeworld, Hala, while seeking revenge on Carol. Okay, so initial thoughts about this one.
Okay, so I'm a Marvel girly. So I'm literally wearing a Black Panther sweatshirt.
Yes.
I was down for the Marvels. I really enjoyed the Kamala show on Disney Plus. I enjoyed
Yes.
Captain Marvel.
Yes.
So I was really looking forward to this. And I know as a general fan base, it was not received the best.
Which we know what we can attribute to.
Right. And I
God.
truly think it's full on sexism. Why
Oh,
and
for
racism for
sure.
sure.
For sure.
Why this movie wasn't regaled higher than it was.
Yeah.
Because it's not that bad of a movie.
It
Like
really
it's
wasn't.
really
It
not.
really wasn't.
And they really have such an issue with it. I will say what I was talking to someone about, and they were like, I didn't understand the connection between Carol and the black woman. I'm like, did you not watch
You
Captain
did
Marvel?
right.
It's
Exactly. Come on.
we know Marvel. I get that there's 22 segments in
Right.
the
We
Marvel
get it.
MCU. I
We
get that there's
understand.
a million.
So many.
But you do kind of have to watch prequels.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just like expect to just swoop in and watch one of them and then understand
No.
all the different contexts. Yeah.
No. So I think it got a lot more hate than it deserved.
Right. For sure.
And yeah, like, and I think it showcased the three of them and their power and their powers
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
I felt it was a very fun movie
Mm-hmm.
for me,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
to be quite honest. So
It for me was exactly what I would expect like from a comic book film. Like I'm here
mhm,
for the fun, right? Like sure, if there's like deeper themes, great. I love that. But I'm just here for the fun. I'm here to
right,
see predominantly like women led film. I thought that the way in which like their chemistry like worked, and especially for Carol and Monica having things that they really needed to sort out that they
right,
hadn't been able to sort out. I remember reading an interview that Nia DaCosta gave about the dynamic between these three, and it was really supposed to be like kind of like estranged sisters like getting
mhm,
together, which is really what it felt like.
yeah,
It was a sisterhood. They're sharing these powers, their powers are entangled, and so they're having to learn to work together, right?
mhm,
Which is something, especially when we see these teams getting together. We saw it with the Avengers, we've seen it with other Marvel films, we've seen it with other films in general, but you also have this dynamic where there is a history there. Again, you have Carol and Monica who have this history, and is tied to family. That's her aunt Carol. I mean, at the same time, you also have Kamala, who first of all, I loved Miss Marvel. Like I
yeah.
loved Miss
Miss
Marvel when
Marvel
it
was a
came
great
out.
show.
Oh, so good. It's one of the
Mhm,
best in my opinion, shows, Marvel shows.
mhm,
Um, but then you also have she's such a huge fan, of her, and you're just seeing
mhm,
her, and she's like this young teen who just looks up to Captain Marvel. But then also to see her kind of not only just being a fan, but then also like having the reality of like meeting your
right,
heroes, right? And knowing this side of who Captain Marvel is.
right,
So I really did love that dynamic. And then just of course them being women and feeding off of one another, you know,
Mhm.
and getting to know each other and fighting, together, I think was just a beautiful thing to see. It was also very funny. It was
Yeah,
also very funny.
including her Kamala's family.
Yeah, oh my
Like,
god.
oh my god, the house
Oh
scene
my god.
is fantastic. The
Yes.
mom and dad did
Yes.
so good. I thought that was a hilarious scene.
Yeah.
The cats,
The
the cats, the
cats.
Glurkins or Flurkins.
The flirkins.
Okay, like they were so good. But then also, right, we get back to Nia, no matter what, even if it's
Yes.
a Marvel, we got a complicated
We
character.
got a complicated
Okay,
character.
because what are they calling Captain Marvel? The
Annihilator.
Annihilator.
And I'm like, where's that coming from?
Who is she annihilating?
Right.
Like, what happened? And come to find out, the person who's supposed to be the villain is actually just trying to get the sun back to her planet
You know what I'm
because
saying?
Captain Marvel made it so that it don't shine there no more.
Look,
It's her fault
and
fully.
that is the complexity that
Hmm.
we were talking about with Nia DaCosta.
Right.
Like, there's because I'm so quick, with most villains, like especially comic book villains, like you're expecting, okay, like they're not going to be these, three-dimensional. They're not they're or these two-dimensional people. Like this one-dimensional. Okay, they're clearly the villain and everything like
Right.
that. And right now, of course, listen, okay, colonization is always bad. All right,
Hmm.
when you're like with stealing resources, imperialism, we hate it.
Hmm.
Um, at the same time, we understand that. Listen, this is someone who's taken everything, right? Her people are suffering. She's doing everything that she possibly can to make sure that they continue to survive, but not only just survive, but thrive, like be
Right.
the people that they once were, the thriving community that they once were. And so to see all these other, you know, worlds that are allowed to, move on, and them them just kind of being left to their own devices, right? You can understand where that she's coming from. Like, it's still awful, but we understand why.
Yeah, my sympathy was much higher once I
Yeah.
realized Carol's role in
Yeah.
that planet's demise, and
Yeah.
it just I'm sorry, and it's also okay. So you have this superpowered person saying, "Well, there's a fight, so I'm going to take out
Like,
one side of it and take out the conflict, and everything's going to be fixed." And it's just like,
what, like, who made
who
you?
asked you for that? Who asked you for that?
Like, why are you allowed? Who made you the decider? Like,
The white savior complex is a little
listen,
too real.
listen.
And
Okay?
if it messed you up,
Right.
and it messed
Exactly.
those people up.
Right. It messed those people up.
Okay.
So I'm like, Darben had every right. Like,
Mhm.
she had every right,
Mhm.
to do that. And I think, again, that's what makes, like, that's what made it, I mean, it was already fun, right? But it makes it goes deeper than, just being like an average, like, comic book film.
Mhm.
You're getting into some really, like, you're getting into some deeper themes. And I really appreciated that about this film. Also about funny how funny it is. Okay, going back to the cats that are not cats, that whole scene of so them trying to escape, right, that one world, and they're having to, like,
Use the clerk
use
in the yeah.
use them to suck up,
To inhale.
to inhale, right,
Yeah.
like the other,
Ingest.
right. Oh my
Mhm.
god. That I was like, I'm like watching that and I'm going, I don't know how I feel about this right now.
It
Like,
was adorable. I
sure, like,
loved it.
I'm like, sure, it's clever, but also
And they not gonna get
it
lost in
was like,
there.
you're right. I'm like, they're not gonna, like, digest them. Like, they're gonna be
It's a vacuum. It's
okay.
just a vacuum. And it just sits in there. And they just marinate.
Right. I was just like, I was like trying to think back to, like, other Marvel films where we've seen, like, just the weirdest, which we have
Yeah,
definitely with, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, for sure.
for sure.
For sure.
Yes. Love and
Because
Thunder as a whole was
Love and
just weird.
Thunder,
Was just
like, what are we doing?
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
uh it's just like, you know what? That's different.
Mhm.
Like, but just all of that. Also going back to her family, again, very, very funny.
Mhm.
Also, let's talk about the representation. All right, not
Yes.
just with, like, because in the TV show Miss Marvel, they address like they address things like partition, right, and all that, the split between India and Pakistan,
Mhm.
right, getting into that, um, but also the Muslim representation, because I
Mhm.
had to rewind it a few times because like so when Kamala comes back after their like huge, fight with Darbine, like I hear the father saying "Yalla," like, and I'm just like, I don't think I've ever heard that in a
Right.
film that's also, especially like a comic book film. I'm like, no, I'm hearing that from like my Arab friends, my Muslim friends. Like that is something that is very specific, like to that
Mhm.
culture. And so I just remember going, what? And then also too, at some point, like when they're trying to transport everyone right to another world, right? We hear the son like praying like in Arabic, and I'm just going, this is awesome. Like, and I'm as of course like this podcast is all about representation in cinema, but I just felt that was like something else that was like, okay, I see your representation. Like
Absolutely.
that was awesome to see.
In a post 9/11 world,
We
we
have come a
can't
long way.
yeah, we can't really
Listen,
shy away
no.
from acknowledging the representation there in White
Yeah.
Matters. I
Yes.
mean, Miss Marvel as a show as a whole,
Right.
it just showing this amazing loving family and this
Yeah.
curious funny daughter.
Oh my god.
And it definitely did its thing. It did what it
Yes.
needed to do
Yeah,
to
yeah.
showcase that culture.
Right.
I think I saw the subtitle say it was Urdu they were speaking, like
Okay, yeah.
specifically
Okay.
Urdu.
Or do okay.
Which as some like I work for a Rochester city department, and we have to talk about access to languages,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so we have the top 12, we have to get things translated certain
Right.
up to 12 languages in the city. That's
Okay.
not a language that's there. So this is also a
Mm.
language that's not in like common dialect
Right.
that just everyone there's so many different languages that are
Yeah.
spoken in that region. So it's just also really nice to see something that
Yeah.
we're not seeing every day.
Right. So was the prayer in Urdu or was it okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Yeah. So not Arabic. Okay.
So it's primarily Pakistan and India, but
Gotcha.
it's
Yeah.
throughout the Muslim, area of
Mhm.
Okay.
Southeast Asia is
Okay.
where it's more predominant.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hmm.
See?
Also, shout out to one of the actresses in this movie, Tiana Paris, who's also in a
Yes.
movie you and I talked about, Jackie, which was They
Yes.
Clone Tyrone.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
we love They Clone
yes. We love
Tyrone.
They Clone
And
Tyrone.
she's going to come up in another one of the movies, but I just wanted to shout out They Clone Tyrone because she was in that, one of the main
Yes.
characters.
She
Yes,
was. Yeah. She was
yes.
so she's so great.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Tiana Parrish yet much,
Yes.
in Marvels.
Yes.
What is it? So she had a character that we met in Captain Marvel as a child, and then,
Yes.
WandaVision is when
Yes.
we see her again, and
Mhm.
which WandaVision subpar or not subpar, amazing. Wrong word. You're right, 2 podcasts back to back is rough. And but
Stop whining.
no, that's my job and I do it well. And yeah, so she is just and then this one, what is it? Because she starts off a little closed off for Captain Marvel
Right.
because she's been away.
Yeah.
And you learn also that when she got blipped in Avengers Infinity War,
Right.
while she was gone, her mom
That
died.
dies. Right.
And then Captain Marvel,
The amazing and talented Lashana Lynch, who
oh,
we love, who we love, who
oh,
we love.
Stan. And she passes away, and then Captain Marvel never comes to see her,
Yeah.
never comes to check in on her, and is worried about everybody else in this universe
Your family.
except someone you actually called family.
Right.
And I will say, tipping over to Carol being complicated once
Right.
again,
Right.
it's like you're also letting down the one person that's known you the longest,
Yes.
that you could trust,
Right.
that the daughter of your very best friend who's no longer here.
Right.
And her selfish side a little bit, because
Right.
it's like, yeah, being in space is cool, it's great, but what about the life you left on Earth?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's feeling because I oh it's all these complexities because she is someone who has been given, these incredible powers. Um and so she herself, feels a heavy responsibility. But then it's also that same thing that got her in trouble, which is why she's the annihilator. And
Mm-hmm.
it's also that great sense of responsibility that you feel that your role is more out there than it is with
Right.
folks who called you family.
And if you had placed that role over here, maybe you wouldn't have taken those people's son
You know
away.
what I'm saying?
Okay, that's all we saying.
It's just
That's it.
you could have avoided so many problems.
Absolutely.
We would not have this.
No.
Um
But Tiana Paris, I think she really added
mhm.
a levity to Captain Marvel
Yes.
and uh
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, which Marvel? Miss Marvel. She was definitely that level, that levity, that in between of
Yeah.
them, and balanced them out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of the scene where they're having to go? I think it was like the planet where they're thinking Darben, which she eventually does end up like stealing water from, and the way that their language is like singing.
Yeah. First of
Oh
all.
my god.
So I rewatched the movie today. I just put it on and I had went into the kitchen and I'm here listening to it. And I'm like, did a musical
Right.
start?
Yeah. Because
What?
that's what I thought.
What?
I was like, wait, what's
Did a
happening?
music? And I've seen it before, but I saw
Yes.
it when it first came out. So I was like, did a musical start? What happened?
Right.
I think it's hilarious. I love that. Because you know what? Because that's the planet I would live on. I would live on the musical planet where we sing everything to each other. So I appreciated that representation personally.
My god.
But what is it? I was trying to think if they had musical I know Brie Larson
Yeah.
dabbles has
Oh,
sang
she has,
before.
because she was in Scott Pilgrim versus
Right,
the World. Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I know she sang before. So I think some movies or TV shows have to capitalize when they
Oh,
have
of course. Oh, this person can sing, they can dance. Like
right,
let's
right.
have
And
them do
sometimes
this.
it creates really painful things to watch, like Grey's
Yes.
Anatomy, or you get or I it was not painful for me to watch this. I will
Yeah.
say their
Right.
musical scene.
Yes. Because you're basically you are both Miss Marvel and Captain Rambo just looking like what is happening,
Mhm.
right? So you're
Mhm.
like, okay, like it's aware of itself, like it's yeah, it was funny. And then when she has to talk to like her husband, essentially, no, we have to talk. And so he's like, oh yeah. And then it's like he's basically just like a normal, like not singing. And I just thought like these little moments are just funny. It just
Mhm.
added to like the hilarity of it all. Which is of course like again what you want, in
It's
a
a
comic book
Marvel
film. Right,
movie. It's not meant to
exactly.
be hard-hitting news,
Right,
hard-hitting,
right. Yeah. You gotta have some
themes.
levity. Like there's definitely like, you know, deeper and darker themes, but you gotta balance it,
Mhm.
with everything else.
Right,
So
because you get the colonization, you
you
get
get the
the
imperialism. Like it is
right.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
definitely woven in there if you
Yes.
look.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so we are going to move on into, because speaking of Tiana Paris, she is also in Candyman.
Mhm.
Candyman is the, I guess, like a yeah, it is the remake of the classic film back in 92, Candyman. So it's about an artist who begins to explore the history of Candyman, not knowing that it would unravel his sanity and unleash a terrifying wave of violence that puts him on a collision course with destiny. Okay, so by the way, shout out to Yaya for this
Mhm.
incredible performance. Um, yeah, first thoughts. That was at least my first thought. But like, what were your first thoughts after
Okay.
watching this film?
My first thoughts. So, what is it? I think I went into it really wanting to like it. Really wanting to support this remake of this iconic movie,
Yeah.
and for it to be directed by a Black woman.
Yes.
But I do think there were a couple of things that were lost for me,
Yeah.
and that was, I don't want to jump ahead in the plot, but
I mean, you
it's
can. It's fine.
okay,
It's
cool.
all good.
So I don't like that. I mean, the whole plot, right, behind Candyman becoming who he was
Yeah.
is these over the decades. I think it was maybe roughly one every 30 years or
Hmm.
so.
Hmm.
There was a Black man that would be terrorized or traumatized
Yeah.
in some form. and then he would basically die and then come back and exact his revenge as
Right.
that generation's Candyman,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And this movie is following, quote unquote, this generation's Candyman
Right.
and how he is becoming the next Candyman. I think for me,
Mhm.
because the other men were severely tortured, were severely put through hell,
Yes.
were treated like absolute garbage by their communities.
Right.
Like it drove. There was a lot that pushed them into becoming that character,
Right.
and I don't think I'm not saying I wanted to see more trauma,
Right.
right? Like
Mhm.
I don't think that's what I'm necessarily advocating for. But we did not see him put through those kinds of trials and tribulations where it's this outside force of usual white supremacy
Yeah.
in some form. And that is what his downfall was. His downfall was literally just Coleman Domingo. I just
Everyone is having to go through physical trauma, whereas his is more psychological, I guess,
it becomes physical.
manipulation. Yeah, it
It
definitely
becomes
becomes, it definitely
physical.
becomes
But
physical,
yes.
but it's more so
Right,
psychological.
he's
So
being
you,
haunted by Candyman,
yeah,
where it felt like the earlier iterations not embraced, but like Candyman belonged to them,
yes, yes,
because of what they had went through, and now they have this moniker to avenge their names,
right, right,
right? Whereas this one, he haunted him.
yeah,
He tortured him
yeah,
first.
yeah.
And I think there was a disconnect of if there's going to be a haunting and torturing, why are black people doing it?
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And I don't understand why we have these backstories of all these black men,
mm-hmm,
like Sherman and
yeah,
all these men who were done wrong by their society
right,
just for like, but it's not their society, it's not their people.
right.
It is usually officers
Yes,
or white supremacists in
yes,
general,
yes, 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 yes,
KKK.
yes, yes.
And I think that was a letdown for me.
Yeah, that was definitely the disconnect. So I sorry for all of the classic horror fans. I had not seen Candyman before this. I ran out of time.
Shout out to Tony Todd.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And I will eventually watch it. Eventually. However, so as has being someone who hasn't seen the originals and just going into this, right? You're watching this remake. Even without having that specific background that you talked about, Brie, I felt that there was a disconnect, especially within the themes, or yeah, getting into like the social commentary and everything like that, because we do see there's a little bit in the film of this, the little kid, the William, who is becomes Coleman Domingo's, in this one, we do see that where there is this outside force, right? These officers, right, who are looking to, you know, strike terror, as we do see plenty of times in this country,
Mhm.
um with, police brutality and beating on this man who was the neighborhoods, like that was their man. And so to see, this now current iteration, or who this man is starting to become, yeah, it felt as though there was an imbalance
Right.
there. Like, I felt some sort of imbalance with watching this, and I wasn't quite getting the point that they were trying to make with this, because even in, like, I 'cause the thing that I really one of the things that I really enjoyed, actually, unfortunately, came at the end, where we're seeing, like, so the end credits, and you're seeing that entire animated sequence of, like, through these, like, kind of shadow,
Mhm.
like, puppets, very well done, but it's explaining the kind of like the history, like you're seeing all of these very real cases, right, of what black men have had done to them, like, or was done to them by these white communities, right? And then trying to relate it to the main guy in the
Right.
film. I was like, again, I'm not, it's not clicking for me what it is that you're
Cuz
trying to do.
cuz blatantly you didn't give us a white villain.
Yeah,
Right? Candyman was the villain
Candyman
to
was the
start,
villain.
and then Coleman Domingo by extension.
Right.
So only black men were the villain in this film.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't
That doesn't sit.
it's not sitting.
No, it's not
Mm-mm.
sitting. The thing that I will say about the film is, number 1, cinematography, incredible. Loved that. I loved like the suspense that is set up, especially when he's going back, to the old village, and he's kind of like looking around, watching. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, had it not been for, like, the history that already exists with Candyman, if you were introducing this as a new lore, and watching this man descend into insanity, right? You see the obsession, right? Because this is a struggling artist. Heck,
Mhm.
hello, I can speak to this as someone who's an artist, right? And trying to find, different ways of expressing art without someone also having like this very harsh criticism about like your work, which you definitely see. Like that part I appreciate. If you were watching this man like because of him wanting to do a great job or wanting to be seen and wanting to be recognized, right?
Mhm.
And you start to see him this kind of this force sort of like take over due to his obsession and then his slow descent into insanity.
Right.
I would have loved that just as a story on its own,
Mhm.
but again, because you also have this history that is attached.
Which is also in the movie,
Right.
right? They do
It's
the
in the
whole
movie.
history
Right.
breakdown in
Exactly.
the movie. So
Right.
it's like it's so close to us that you can't really ignore
Yeah.
what we know the intentions were,
Right.
but then the follow through just didn't happen.
Right. And then correct me if I'm wrong, for all of the people who stupidly said the name 5 times,
Mhm.
were they were any of them black?
Yes, they had a black child. What is it? They don't show them dying, but they're behind a door like their little brother is trying to get inside to play
That's
with
right.
them.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, cuz I remember thinking, what is it? Cuz I
Is this it?
looked
Because I was like, is it only white? Because that one
yeah.
Asian chick in the bathroom, she's like, nah, I'm out.
Right. She left.
She
She
was like,
left.
I'm
She
I,
left.
right.
But yeah, so he did have a couple black victims
Okay,
because of that.
yeah. Because otherwise, because that was the other thing too. I was like, because I couldn't remember. I'm like, wait, are all of the victims are they non-black people?
Cuz that also could have been something they
Because that
gave
could have
us.
been something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, there's still again like Nia DaCosta. She's introducing like all these complex characters, right? And we love that. But then, yeah, that I think was what made I didn't connect as much with it as I thought I might.
Mhm.
Like I said, I really wanted to fully love, right, the film. Especially being something that is not only like Nia DaCosta's work, but then also this produced by Monkey Paw
Right.
Productions, right, owned by
Right.
Jordan Peele, right? Yeah,
I
like
think that's what surprised me a little bit is knowing that
yeah.
Monkey Paw was behind it and
Oh, that's
it's
how I felt about Him as well, the movie Him.
mhm.
Um,
Oh, see, I didn't watch him.
okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's that 3rd and I think that's also what did it for me. Like the 3rd act, again, I'm like, given everything that is transpired, still like I'm at a disconnect, but then also getting into that 3rd act and like especially those final moments, I'm like, so what am I supposed to take away from
Right.
this? Yeah.
Cuz also right when he got bit by
Yeah.
the bee, I was like, so he's infected now? Is that why he's obsessed?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and what was the point of that? Is that like would he still have been obsessed if he didn't get bit?
Right.
Even though he seems to be slated to be within this world because he was stolen as a baby?
Oh, yeah,
Right.
almost forgot about that.
Right. Cuz
'Cause there's
he
that whole thing where he was the sacrifice,
right.
right?
Right. And that white woman, they tried to say the white woman tried to kill him, but
Right.
actually she saved
It's the
him.
vim yeah.
Yeah.
So it's uplifting this white so essentially it's uplifting this white woman,
Oh.
and we're not oh,
Oh.
girl. So it's
But
uplifting this white woman, and then the black people are the villains.
oh,
Dang.
dang.
What you heard
Yeah.
is a realization of what actually
Yeah,
Dang.
like damn. That's exactly it. And oh Nia. I
Maybe you know what? I was like, maybe it was no, because the studio would have been who was the studio for this actually behind this? I know that because I know Monkey Paw is the production company.
mhm.
I always just do that when I'm like, there's a decision that doesn't quite make sense. So, well, maybe it was the studio executives.
And
Sometimes they be
baby,
like
I
that,
don't know.
but yeah,
But yeah, I do think it missed the mark and what is it? I guess I also, because when he finally became Candyman, I felt nothing.
Nothing.
I felt nothing.
I'm like, okay, so he's the new, I guess, what? Is he supposed to be the protector? Because right now at this point, it doesn't feel like the protector. Like,
No.
what are you? I don't know. Are you going to kill her now too? Or is it
Right. What,
because you were already partners with her?
you won't kill her, but
You
if you
won't kill
weren't partners, you would have killed
killed her.
her.
Yeah. That's the thing. But then at the end, like, then he's killing police officers. So now I'm like, okay, so the themes are all over the place right now.
Right.
And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take from this. Again,
Right.
cinematography and acting was great.
Yeah.
I loved her with her brother and the partner. They were funny. You know,
Mhm.
a little comedic relief.
Right. Right. I
But
will say once again, she had a complex character because I did not like him. I did not
oh,
like him. The main guy, I did not like him. I thought he was very selfish and self-centered. There was a part, I think it was after he got bit,
okay.
but it was when the first victims were found and they're watching the
Oh,
news.
he's like, and my name has been said. They
All
mentioned
he
my name,
cares
and
is
I'm
that they
like,
mentioned his name.
bro, are you okay? What is
Like,
happening?
and then you
Yeah.
learned through that when she found them, like she also saw her dad commit suicide.
Oh my god, that's right.
So
Oh,
so
that
she's
got buried too.
right. So
That
she's
whole
dealing with
trauma.
that. And he's all just thinking about his name. And I'm like, baby girl, why are you still with him? What's going
Hello.
on? What's going
That's the
on?
first and final red flag. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
out. Like,
Him like not even caring that of the trauma she went through. So it was I did not
yeah.
like him. There was no possibility of like
It was like,
like it was with Hedda.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
just disliked
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. Oof. Good God.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, on that note, if there is anything, if Nia were a regular listener on the podcast, what would you say to her directly?
Keep creating complex characters.
Mhm.
I think I don't think we're meant to like every single person we ever
Of
meet,
course. Of
and
course.
we're not meant to like every person we see on a screen. I
That's fine.
think
Yeah.
those people, those stories still deserve to exist and
Mhm.
breathe.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Um, I would, yeah, absolutely say yes. You're Nia. You're really good at complex characters. I would also just love to see. I mean, she's said in interviews like she loves to kind of genre bend, and she wants to do like other genres. Honestly, like if we can get more, I'm a Western girly. I love
Mm,
Westerns. Shout out to The Harder They Fall,
mm,
an
mm.
incredible film.
Band-Aids.
Um, I would love to see her direct a Western. I think that
Mhm.
would be badass.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that she could do it for sure too. Um, well, Bree, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We're
Yeah.
talking about all things Nia DaCosta.
Yeah, I had so much fun.
Yes, we always have fun in the pod, breaking down these films and everything. Listeners, we'll have more information, of course, about where you can follow and support Bree. In the show notes, in the description below. If you are watching on YouTube, wherever you're listening from, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like tonight's episode, please give us a 5-star rating, share this episode, and leave a comment letting us know about anything that you enjoyed about the episode or anything that we left out or forgotten about or didn't mention. Please let us know in the comments. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all the things. Visit ourvoicesproject.com and sign up for our newsletter for more information about what we do. We'll be handing flowers to yet another Black woman director who we should be talking about. And of course, you won't know until the show premieres. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. This has been Jackie McGriff, your host of Representation in Cinema. As always, thank you for listening.
This has been a presentation of the Lunchador Podcast Network.
Jackie, 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 Jackie.